Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate your time this evening and today. And thanks for having me, Liz, on World Refugee Day, which is really incredible. The United States has had a longstanding commitment to providing safety and refuge for those fleeing violence and persecution worldwide. And it's welcoming refugees is a time-honored tradition and really demonstrates our core values as Americans. Expanding resettlement has been a major priority for the Biden administration, and it's a key tool in response to global humanitarian crises and expanding opportunities for refugees around the world. It was an important priority from the president's first day in office to rebuild the program after it was systematically weakened and realistically dismantled in the previous administration over 4 years of historically low refugee arrivals. And we're proud to have rebuilt, and in fact, we announced today through the White House that we have rebuilt the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program. It is stronger than ever. We are on track to admit more than 100,000 refugees to the United States this year, which will be the most in 3 full decades. Not even rounding, 30 years. We're really excited about it. It's been a long time coming. It's been a lot of work, certainly through with many of your help going back to 2021, through a number of crises overseas and here. It required just really a whole of government effort to rebuild our domestic resettlement capacity through the national resettlement agencies, to streamline and modernize processes overseas. I think we're really excited that the refugee program is not simply what it once was at its previous modern peak under the Obama administration, but rather trying to make it far better. And so we've done a number of things, for example, to drastically streamline the processes overseas, which were never about, it does not take 3 years to vet a refugee. Rather, there's a lot of dead time and space in waiting for different steps to complete. And by being able to, for example, do those in sequential ways, to track cases digitally rather than through paper files, many other little adjustments around the world, dealing with scheduling, being more efficient, has enabled us to really drastically expand the overseas process. We've brought on a number of new partners, certainly many of you as well. We've worked to really expand access to resettlement to some of the most vulnerable people around the world. Whether that includes many that you have helped with Afghans, many refugees in Latin America, where we have an incredible, very challenging migration crisis in our own hemisphere. Also for LGBTQI+ and human rights defenders, refugees who are in very difficult positions and are being persecuted on the basis of what they stand for and what they believe in, and really are. We still have a lot more to do. We are not considering the job done. We are proud that the program is rebuilt. The president set a goal in his executive order in February of 2021 to not only rebuild the program, but to enhance and strengthen and expand it. We continue to do so, and we continue to want to do so. And as part of that, we are really excited that the overseas program has been rebuilt and our domestic resettlement infrastructure has gotten to a much better place. But it is an unfortunate reality that there are more refugees overseas that are still in need of resettlement. And it is approaching record numbers worldwide, certainly. UNHCR has estimated some in the area of 2.5 million refugees worldwide that are in need of resettlement. That is a very small part of the most vulnerable refugees of the now 120 million individuals worldwide who are either refugees or internally displaced, which is unfortunately also a record. But then also many, many, many refugees in our refugee pipeline already that we are looking to resettle in the United States. I'll just share, broad-based support from local communities is really critical to sustaining our resettlement efforts in the years to come. Your contributions, including through the Welcome Corps, they help supplement a lot of our existing domestic capacity and can ensure that new arrivals have the support they need to get started in their new lives. I think, as you all know, refugees contribute politically, socially, culturally, economically to their new U.S. communities. And I'll also note from an economic standpoint, the Department of Health and Human Services released a report earlier this year that incredibly showed that refugees and asylees over a 15-year period, concluding in 2019, contributed net $124 billion to the U.S. economy, which is just incredible. And proud of this administration for releasing this report. There was actually a prior report you might have read about that was never released by the prior administration that told even a great story as well. So I want to talk a little bit about just a key part of our overall rebuild, which is the Refugee Corps. And this is the private sponsorship for refugees that was launched in 2023. And it enables Americans from all walks of life, whether involved in local civic community organizations, churches, veterans organizations, or are simply friends, that to help step up and welcome refugees into their communities. Americans team up with, the theory is if you can team up with 4 others in your community, you can apply, sponsor a refugee family, and you can even welcome them here this summer, which is pretty incredible. An exciting announcement that I think Liz was partially alluding to is that now through July 31st, the Americans who participate in the Welcome Corps to resettle a refugee that they don't know yet, of course you will meet them soon, is that a new fund called the Sponsor Fund, which is funded entirely by private philanthropy efforts and supported in particular by the Shapiro Foundation, will fully fund the minimum fundraising requirements required to apply for the Welcome Corps. So we're really excited about that. The Welcome Corps relies heavily on partnerships with private sponsor organizations, including WelcomeNST. I've been hugely impressed by WelcomeNST's work dating back a number of years now to bring Americans together to resettle refugees and to mentor participants throughout this process, and for then all of you to then mentor others throughout this process. I know that many of you on this call are already supporting refugees and others in your communities, and I thank you. So I know that many of you already have the tools that you need to help to resettle a refugee in your community. You have the knowledge of your community, you have an interest in lending a hand to your neighbors, and we're really just excited for you to join this important work. So Liz, thank you so much for having me tonight. Really great to talk with all of you on World Refugee Day and celebrate, I think, an important milestone in this administration's commitment to refugees around the world and here at home. And thank you so much.